All right, what's happening, folks? What's going on? So we got something interesting today. I haven't drawn it yet. I just laid out some of my, had to squeeze out some paint here. Some new paint. So this is a gouache. What's going on, everybody? Sarah, Philip, Rosetta, Amanda, Judy. How's everybody doing? Dragon Souls, Cubs win. What's happening? So guess I'll get started on this. So I'm using some toned paper. This paper is a bit thicker than the sketchbook paper that I normally use, and this stuff can hold watercolor and gouache pretty well, as we'll see here in a second. What's going on? Enrique, Joyce, Sarah, Kim, thanks everybody for tuning in. So I'm going to try to sketch this on here pretty quick. It's going to have to be pretty small because he has a really long tail. I don't know if I should, maybe I should cut some of the tail off at the bottom. That might be kind of cool. I don't know, we'll just naturally see where it ends up. I'll just draw them on here and we'll see if I end up, I'm definitely probably going to cut some of them off. Or maybe a lot of them off. I don't know, is the tail the cool part of it, or should I just focus? Let's be natural about it. Let's just see what's gonna fit. Not a lot. But that's okay, I'd rather it be a little bit bigger than, you know, be super small on there with a long tail. I already got wet paint on me, that's great. Off to a great start. Kashika, what's happening? Mark. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Nadia. Thank you guys for tuning in. So I haven't painted with gouache since like last October. So almost 1 year, 11 months, I guess. So we're gonna see how this turns out. It's a little different than, I mean, it's similar to watercolor, but it's a little different because it fades very much. The fading of it, once you put it down, it dries. Once it dries, it fades a lot. Enrique says, Brandon, with gouache, can you use a less expensive paper? You know, I don't think so. Probably not. Maybe, actually. I get what you're saying. Since it's not as transparent, you could probably use a less expensive paper. I'm not sure because with gouache, I've only kind of used this this tone paper, which I'm not sure if it's that expensive, to be honest. This is just Strathmore Tone Gray Mixed Media, 15 sheets, 6 by 8 inches, 15 by 20 centimeters. It's 184 pound paper, 300 grams per square meter or something. I don't know. 184 pound. So it's pretty good paper, pretty thick. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, this is 184 pound. I mean, you can paint. You can use, like, I've seen people do watercolor with like 110 pound paper. So it is possible, and gouache with 110 pound. You can try it. But I definitely like the heavier papers, you know. Paper isn't really the expensive part to me. It's more of the paint that's expensive. But what I was saying earlier is what's difficult about gouache is that it dries. When it dries, the light colors dry darker and the dark colors dry lighter. So it's really a pain to work with sometimes when you're trying to get something really dark or something really bold. It's just challenging to kind of juggle that. So that's what I'm going to be having a headache with. I keep putting my hand right into the white paint here. Oh man. Okay. Let's move that off to the side while I'm trying to draw this first. Yeah, so I have not had much experience with gouache. You know, I've shown some of my gouache pieces from last year on the stream a few times. You know, it can be used very similar to watercolor. You know, you can thin it down. I've painted paintings with gouache where I've thinned it down and I use the dried gouache. See, I have this dry gouache been on here for like a year. The problem is it doesn't really stay in the palette. It just flakes right off normally. You know, some of these are staying in there pretty well, but you know, if you put smaller pieces, it kind of just flakes out. So for me, it's kind of hard to use for plein air. That's why I kind of use it just when I'm at home. So I think that's pretty much all I need to sketch. Hopefully I'll be able to knock this one out pretty quickly here today, folks. And I got a new internet modem like an hour ago. I just set this thing up and the upload speed's way better. So I might be able to do some 1080 higher quality streams here soon, to be honest. But I'm gonna do some testing, of course, but pretty happy today about that. So I think I really needed a new modem, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. I'm just glad I'm getting it figured out. Shouldn't have any more problems in that area. What other painters have used gouache? I mean, tons of painters. Who has used gouache? A lot of the original Disney. I've seen a lot of the original Disney, or at least a few of them. There's a cool museum. At the time, I went last May, not this past May, but last year, 2019 in May. I went to a museum in San Francisco, like some kind of Disney museum there, and they were having a Mickey Mouse exhibit. A lot of the original illustrations and a lot of those backgrounds you see in the old Disney movies and probably even like Scooby-Doo and stuff, a lot of those backgrounds that are painted, those are actually painted in gouache. And I went through this whole museum and they had like all these old Mickey Mouse and Fantasia and all these old illustrations in gouache. Really cool to see, man. It was so, you know, they were only like this big, a lot of them, you know, 9x12 or something. And they were so smooth. Everything was so smooth, detailed. Like, I don't know how they did it, but it was really cool to see. It was definitely cool to see. I have a bunch of photos from there, I think. But it was cool, man. It was definitely cool. So, is this my pet? No, this is not my pet. This is just a photo I found online. I have a cat, so I could not have this bird and have a cat. My cat would go crazy, and I would go crazy, and the bird would go crazy. Yeah, there's other artists who use gouache. I mean, in the past, stuff like that. But anyway, so let's get into this. I just have this palette I have. It's different than my watercolor palette. It's very basic. I have like yellow ochre, alizarin permanent, phthalo green, phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and azo yellow, titanium white. And these are like dried ivory black. I have ivory black, but I'm not going to need it for this painting. So that's kind of the palette I'm going to be using. Let's see if I could probably show it on here. There we go. How's that? That's cool. If I did small studies like this in the future with watercolor, I can show my palette on here. Because there have been some people complaining like, oh, you should show your palette if you can, but I would need another camera and I ran out of USB ports. I don't have any other way to hook it up. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in today on Friday. Appreciate it. Oh, the brand that I use for gouache, I have a few different brands, to be honest. I have Da Vinci, M. Graham, and I think the alizarin permanent is Winsor Newton. So I use just a bunch of different ones. The main difference in gouache and acrylic is that once you put it down, you cannot manipulate acrylic with water like gouache. That's a question. Yeah, gouache, you can always re-wet it and manipulate it. Acrylic, it dries so quickly and it's done. You just put another layer down. Gouache, you can re-wet it and finesse the edges and kind of play around with things. Gouache has a different feel than acrylic. Let me get started here. So I don't know why I dipped into the yellow ochre. I really like yellow ochre. I wanted to start with yellow ochre somewhere. Maybe I'll do the background yellow ochre and then like layer darker colors on top of it. That could be cool. Oh, you know what? I just thought of a cool idea. I'm gonna put a wash of yellow ochre down. I've never really done something like this before, at least not recently. And I've always wanted to try it. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put like yellow ochre down first. Like a thin wash of it. And then leave some of the yellow ochre showing through on that blue. So we'll get like a warm undertone. I don't know, it could be pretty cool, I think. If I wanted, I could start out with watercolors first, washes, and then do gouache on top of it. You know, you can mix gouache and watercolor if you want. And by the way, I'm using a cheap flat brush today. So this is just some cheap flat brush I got for free. And I used to use this in watercolors in my plein air videos and stuff when I first started out. But I'm not doing anything yet, but yeah, acrylic and gouache are opaque. Man, I can't get my palette clean. Gouache can be thinned down. Acrylic can be thinned down too, but it kind of loses its binder ability a bit if you thin acrylic down too much. So I'm gonna try, like I said, I've never tried this before, so this is new to me. I wanna try starting out with like, do like a wash of yellow ochre on here. Just to get some warmth. And this will dry pretty quickly, so. And I have that fan if I need it. I thought I was going to leave some of that gray to show through, but I just changed my mind. Let's start out with some warmth. That's usually why I like using the tone paper, because I'd leave some of that gray to show through. But this was just a different idea I came up with right now. What's going on, Theo? Theo? Yeah, acrylic does not reactivate. Acrylic, once it dries, it's done, man. You gotta just, it turns into like plastic. Yeah, I'm not gonna do any Disney stuff, anything that's copyrighted. No thanks. It's not my style anyway, you know, I don't wanna, I'm not trying to be like a Disney artist. I want to do my own stuff. But next week, I think next week I'm going to do portraits, portrait week. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing that portrait week. How's the stream quality today, by the way? Still good? Still no jumpiness, no jitteriness? Want to make sure we're doing well. Yeah, so this is already dry. This paper dries really quickly. So okay, it's much thicker. It just dries quicker than watercolor paper. Excellent stream quality. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do some testing tonight, man. I'm gonna do some testing and see if I can get some higher quality streaming going, get back to 1080 like I used to, so you guys can see some better. Do you guys want me to zoom in at all, or should I just keep it like this so you can see the colors I'm mixing? And see, with gouache you can mix in white, you can make stuff opaque. You can do the same thing with watercolor. You can mix in like white gouache with watercolor and make watercolors a little bit more opaque. An artist that really inspires me, does that. Marco Bucci here on YouTube. He does a lot of great videos. But he was the first one that really inspired me to do watercolor plein air. He kind of saved me when I was going to Alaska a few years ago, and I was trying to figure out a plein air setup. And I found his videos and kind of modified his setup. So watch this in a little while, how that's going to fade when it dries. I mean, it fades crazy amount. And a lot of people that use gouache, they usually leave hard edges. It's kind of like a certain style people do. I like, I'll probably get into it here by the end of this painting. I like having a lot of texture, so I'm going to play around with that probably by the end of this painting. Let's be sketchy with this thing. Gotta remember I have that warmth underneath there, so I can leave some of that showing through here and there. Yeah, see, I love doing the dry brushing on this with the gouache. Man, it just makes such cool textures. I mean, look at that. I'll show you guys up close. I mean, this is beautiful textures, man. I love the dry brushing with gouache. It's one of my favorite things. You can just get such cool texture on this paper. Well, I've been doing plein air for a few years, but the person who inspired me to do watercolor plein air was Marco Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, Marco, M-A-R-C-O. He has a channel on YouTube. If you just type in Marco Bucci, he has really good videos. He puts out like one video a month, and it's like really good, you know, high quality. And he has some good. He does a lot of digital painting and stuff, but he has a few like sketchbook. Yeah, see how dark it dries off. He has some sketchbook like travel sketching videos that really inspired me, and I was like, dude, it's really where I got my setup from. I kind of modified his setup a little bit, and I think mine's superior, to be honest. It's a lot more easy to use. But his still, you know, my setup came from his initial idea, so. Oh, that's interesting, Philip. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Disney owns everything you draw, you know, for them. That's the thing. They own it. Yeah. Hope you're not driving and watching, Sarah. That would be quite interesting. I'm using ultramarine blue and a little bit of phthalo blue. I'm surprised we got so many viewers on a Friday. I don't know, last Friday it was like nobody was here, just like quiet, empty, gone. I didn't even know anybody would want to watch these gouache videos. I haven't done gouache. This is my first gouache live stream ever, so it's interesting that so many people are interested in this. So I can get a bit darker, mix in some burnt sienna. I got burnt sienna because in this gouache they didn't have transparent red oxide, so I had to get burnt sienna. Put some shadows in here. Start trying to make this thing come to life a little bit. And get some texture in here too. Yeah, I don't have to be, the cool thing about gouache, I don't have to be as careful as I am with watercolor. You know, with this, I can always go back over it with blue or something, you know, just make it thicker. So I'm not too worried about you know how I'm putting the paint down really. I just start out with the overall mid-tone color, and now I'm going to put the lights, darks, and then the lights on. So, and that's really what's, you know, it's the contrast, the darks and the lights. It's just like those 3 or 4 values. It's really just going to bring this thing to life, hopefully. That's what I'm focusing on doing right now. And I love being able to add some texture with the thicker paint. So I can get some like feather looking textures and stuff. Just a lot of dry brushing. It's just it gives a really cool texture. I just love it. So it's one thing I found out about myself last year when I started using gouache. I was like, man, I never realized how much I really love the texture of this. It really surprised me, because I never really had that kind of texture in my work before. And then when I started using the gouache, I was like, man, I like that. I like how that comes out. So now I need like a kind of a gray, kind of what I already have here for the beak. Gotta put that in. It's still kind of blue as well. So you can see my color mixing, it's just kind of nonsense, you know. There's not a whole lot of method here. I mean, could I use washes over this? I could use, I mean, you're right. Once you have gouache down on the paper, I mean, it's in that certain spot, I mean, you lost transparency. I could probably glaze watercolor over this once it all dries. But you just have to be careful because gouache gets reactivated with water. But it'd be something you'd have to experiment with a bit. I would only use gouache with watercolors, like if you just want to give your watercolors a bit more opacity, or like, you know, yeah, opacity, you know, make it more opaque. And also if you need to correct something. I remember I didn't use much gouache when I painted with watercolors plein air, but there was one time I remember specifically. The first painting I did on my Paris and Europe trip, I used a little bit of white gouache to show lines in the road, I believe, or something in the road that was white, and I brought that back out with gouache. And I could have used white watercolor, but at the time I had gouache on my palette rather than white watercolor. But now I've learned that you can use watercolor a bit more opaquely if you want. So can you use gouache with regular acrylic paints? No, I don't think so. I wouldn't recommend doing that. There's no reason to do that. I'm gonna put this branch in just because that's like the lightest thing in this scene. So I kind of want to get that in a little bit, just to figure out, get more of the value structure going in this painting. See, my texture works great for like bark and stuff too. Like, let's soften this edge just a little bit. Try to anyway. There we go. Soften that. Could even soften this one too. Slightly. Just cleaning my brush real quick. Thanks, Sarah. She says my color mixing is spot on. I'm trying. I don't think my drawing is spot on, but it's okay. I think it's gonna look a little weird because I don't have the whole tail in here. If I had the whole tail coming down, it'd look a little bit more proportionally accurate. But at this moment, I don't have that going on. So there's a little spot of bright yellow around its eye, so I'm gonna put that in, which is kind of cool. It makes it really pop. I think that really brings this thing to life, and I just drew it completely wrong, but that's okay. I can fix it with some blue paint, hopefully. So if that dries pretty quickly, I can go back in with some blue paint here. And that blue is pretty rich, so I don't have to worry too much, but basically modify that shape. See, you can bring the shapes, you can really paint over a lighter color like that. Modify some edges, modify some shapes. I feel better about that. I don't know if I showed you guys the reference, but I'll take a break real quick. There's the reference, folks. Maybe I can zoom it in since I'm not doing that whole thing. Sorry about that. There we go. That's kind of what I'm painting right now. Also, be sure to check out my website, schaeferfineart.com. Got some cool drawings on there, like the ones you see here for sale. Also some cool watercolors. And yeah, be sure to check out my website. I also have a page you can support what I do here on this channel to keep me going. PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Bandcamp. Or you can just purchase a painting or just watch these videos. Anyway, appreciate all the support, folks. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for supporting what I do here on this channel. And we can add a little bit of highlight here. The smaller brush. I don't really like using the smaller brush, it drives me crazy. But sometimes, especially with subjects this small, you gotta do it. I'm surprised I'm getting the values actually really close, you know. I'm surprised I'm not getting thrown off by its fading or anything. It seems to be going pretty well, actually. Surprisingly. What's going on, Nathan? I see Nathan somewhere. Somebody said Nathan. Oh, there he is. What's going on? Asami, Kuwait Asami, what's happening? Yeah, gouache today, man. Gouache. Something different. This is my first gouache live stream. So I haven't done gouache in 11 months. It's definitely quicker than watercolor, especially this small. This is a lot smaller than what I'm used to working. Usually my watercolors are like double this size. So I'm 30 minutes in, so I'm kind of taking my time. I think I'm gonna do the background real quick just to get more, you know, I think I just need more stuff blocked in a bit. So ultramarine blue, burnt sienna makes a nice kind of earthy black. We can add some phthalo blue, we can add some alizarin permanent. Kind of deepen it a bit more. Pretty good. We can put some yellow ochre in there too. Doesn't matter, we just want it to be dark. Problem is there was gray on the palette underneath and I kind of mixed in that gray, so there's a little bit of white in this mixture. That's alright, the background isn't black though, it's a lighter. It's like a light gray. Let's put some phthalo green in there too, why not? I think I'm going to spray some of the colors here, starting to dry a bit. Try to keep them moist. There we go. Make it a bit green. You guys can't even really see that, but I did it. Trust me. Thanks, man. I'm working on it. Try not to get too detailed, but I'm loving the dry brushing and stuff. Have I ever used casein? No, I have not. I've not used it. Try to get it a little less wet. I want to get some texture going in here. Possibly, if I can. Maybe not that much. Wanted a little bit of texture. I do love the dry brushing though. So I'm just blocking in a dark value for the background. I can always go over it, lighten some areas up in a minute or so. That's the cool thing about gouache. It's not as time, I don't have to be so concerned like watercolor. Like watercolor, I'd be freaking out. Oh my God, I gotta hurry up and get this all washed to blend together and all this stuff. Like this, I'm not worried about hard edges or washes or anything. I can add a little bit of water and re-wet things. So it's actually a little more relaxing process, I'm finding, which is pretty nice. Maybe I'll do gouache every Friday now or something if you guys want to see more of these. I have a bunch more of this tone paper. I got some tan tone, I got some gray tone like this. I kind of ruined the tone of it because I did that yellow ochre at first. But I was playing around. I was seeing what would happen. I didn't really leave a lot of it in the painting right now, but it's okay. We're making a dark background. We're done with that light tan nonsense. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Maybe too much, too dark, too whatever, but gotta try it. Gotta see what happens. It is pretty dark, right? But we'll add some lighter greens and stuff. We'll try to bring this thing to life a little bit. Oh, okay, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that about casein, whatever that is. That's cool to know. So once you put it down, it's more permanent than gouache. Like gouache will keep reactivating and whatever. That's cool. That's cool to know. I had no idea about it. Didn't really understand that. I got a different idea. Let's see. I didn't really like what I just did, but that's okay. I'm gonna try. Let's see if we can give. I kind of like building trees and stuff up like this. Let's see what this looks like. Just gives more like variety, you know? You can be a little more free about it. Yeah, gouache is nice. I'm not sure about this background. It's really dark. It looks a lot darker on the screen, but I promise it's not that dark. But I didn't want it to be that dark, surprisingly. Oh, I'm just trying to make some interesting shapes, you know, just trying to mix it up a little bit for the background. There's a lot of stuff going on back there, so I kind of want to simplify if I can. But I think we need some highlights on the bird. Let's finish up the bird and then I'll worry about the background a bit more. It'll probably look cooler once I peel the tape off too, that dark background. Once you see the gray paper, it might look pretty cool actually, to be honest. Oh, okay, Emerge. Good to see you, man. Sergio. Yeah, I like I like what you submitted, man. That's really cool. Thanks for sending that in. Yeah, I know you couldn't make the critique, but glad you watched the replay. Glad you're able to see that. Okay, so the background was watercolor, the figure was gouache. Yeah, it was really cool, man. Really, really bold work. I like it. It was really cool. So let's see what this will look like. Put some highlights right on the bird up here. Nice feathery textures, man. I love that. Gosh. I kind of overdo it with the dry brushing because I like it too much. I think I need to put his eye in there as well. Hey, what's going on? Okay. Gonna have to, that looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys can even see that. I'm gonna have to a little bit more of that yellow. Oh man, the brush is still. There we go. Looks good. Let's see if I can fix. Just need to fix shape of this slightly. Yeah, it's a little too much. Oh, well, doesn't have to be perfect, right? Doesn't have to be. Just has to be decent. And there's actually a small little line there. Boom. Do I have a favorite color? Not really. I like earth colors, man. Green, blue, browns, yellow ochres, stuff like that. Tan. Those kinds of colors. What else? What else? What else? Oh man, looks like I went over. Didn't mean to do that. I went over this shadow here. It's supposed to be there. Didn't mean to do all that. Oh boy, I don't like using this little brush. But I feel like we just need a few little feather layers and stuff here. See if we can put some of that in. I don't want to go too crazy with details and stuff, but you know, just to give it a little something. A little something for the eye to look at, you know what I mean? Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. I don't know about these little dots and stuff I did, but you just blend those out. It's not like a spotted parrot or something, you know what I mean? Now if I wanted, this is where I could like soften some of the edges. I could do some other stuff like that. I still didn't do the shadow on the bark down here. So we can do that real quick. Is the eye too white? It's yellow. See, we got the reference. We got a yellow eye. So that's what I'm going for. No worries, Angela. Thanks for tuning in real quick, though. I appreciate it. Ooh, brush is too wet. Didn't like that stroke. But it happens. I made too much water there. Yeah, it looks a little washed out on camera. The blue is pretty saturated. I can't really get it more saturated, to be honest. It's one of those things, man. You just can't match Mother Nature, but I know what you're saying, though. I could try to glaze it, maybe, but since I'm using gouache, it's kind of hard to do glazes and stuff, I think. I could try it, though. Feathers being a bit more defined. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to do that, possibly. I just don't want to over-define it. You know, I like sketchier stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what I can do. Appreciate the input, though. Just a work in progress still. See, so now I can fix some of the darker colors that I did. I can fix with some lighter colors because it's gouache. Love it. I love it. Do you ever paint, draw with mixed media? Not really. Not really. There's a lot of people on here that want me to do watercolor with pen and ink, so I may do that eventually, but for now, I haven't. I don't. Man, the background looks so dark on the screen. It's crazy. It's really not that dark. But then when I lighten it up, it really washes out the blue of the bird. It really lightens up the bird too much, so it's hard to... This camera's not the greatest for colors. You guys know that. You guys know that by now. So if I wanted, I could soften some edges now. I could like kind of finesse this. You know, maybe that's what I do. I think I can kind of fix some edges here. I'll end up making it muddy. Yeah. Too many layers, yeah, for sure. for sure. Yeah, I kind of don't like how dark I went in the background. I feel like some of this I could like, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't want to add too much texture and too much going on in the background. So part of me is like, maybe leave it. But part of me does want something like slightly behind the bird. Or maybe, I'm just trying to figure out what angle or something. I don't want to, yeah. I can just slightly kill some of that dark. You guys can't even see that, huh? Man, what is the deal here? Must be the shadow from something. Let me see if I can turn on this light. That would help. Helps a little bit. Just looks so much darker on the screen. It's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, if I put my hand in here, it changes. Like, I can get it to change colors and stuff. Like, it's hard to. It's a weird. Not the greatest camera for colors and stuff, but it's better than nothing because it allows me to do these live streams and stuff. So. And the company sent this to me for free, so I can't really complain at all, man. I'm really grateful, really happy that I got this thing. It really changed the game for me on the live stream and stuff. So, very grateful for that. Let's put like some yellow ochre back there. Let's just like make it interesting or something. Maybe we need like some horizontals to like break this up somehow, Create like some fake branches that don't really exist on these kinds of things. I don't want to get too busy back there, but I want it to look kind of natural-ish, Man, it's just so dark. I did that way too dark. I didn't realize it would dry that dark. It's more matte in person. Here, let me see if I can show you guys on my webcam real quick. It might look a little bit different. No, doesn't look any different. It's hard to see. Oh my gosh. Just can't witness the subtleties. All right, look, that's what the background looks like, guys. Don't look at the bird, just look at the background. That's really what the background is. Like the dark part of it. It's pretty light. But the bird is kind of like that. So it's hard. It's yeah. It just can't expose the light and the dark and stuff. Can you lift gouache at all? Yeah, yeah. Watch, I'll show you. I was doing it earlier when you can finesse some of the edges with just water. Watch, I'll try to show you here. Actually, you can see it. See the like kind of glowing effect I got? That's just from water. Watch over here. If I just wet my brush a little bit, see that? Just a little tiny bit of water. I just wet it. That white comes right up. Like I just lift it all. Lifting the dark and the light there. So you got to be careful when you do it, but yeah, you can definitely lift. You can definitely lift color. You know, like the feathers here. Like I can just put a little bit of water there. Just change that whole edge, you know. So that's just something to be aware of, be careful of, be whatever of. Yeah, gouache is very easy to lift, that's the thing. Yep, just a drop of water would, exactly. Yeah, you gotta really be careful with what you do. Well, I'm somewhat happy with this one. I mean, I did it pretty quickly. It's 1 hour on this little tiny thing. I still feel like, it's like, do I still want to push some of the highlights here on the head just to bring it? Like, let's just make it really a focal point. Just a little tiny bit. I don't want a lot because it's easy to overdo highlights and stuff, but even that's almost overdoing it, really. And there's just a little bit up here. Like I said, easy to overdo it, very easy. But I like that, that's kind of cool. So I've been using pretty much the same brush the whole time, just this flat brush, number 6 flat. And that small little, this tiny little thing for the eyes and stuff. But let's see if I can make it a little bit darker, because I'm going to do something small, really small line. See what this looks like. Oh, that's a bummer to hear, Asami. Ugh. I feel like I would do that too, like just cleaning my brush. Like I'm always like dipping my water in there really quickly trying to clean it and just get a droplet of water on the painting. Very easy to do. I do that with my watercolors all the time. You guys have, some of you have witnessed me do that. I look down 20 minutes later, I'm like, man, when did I get a drop of water on the sky? When did that happen? About 20 minutes ago. I don't know, just trying to define like some feathers and stuff a bit more. Trying to. The illusion, obviously. I'm not like sitting here outlining feathers and stuff, but just trying to have like different dimensions, different layers a bit. Is it working? I don't know. I think I need a little bit more darks in there to really get what I want. Yeah, I mean, gouache is fun. The problem is it's not easily I mean, you can re-wet it. It's just you can't get it's hard to get it very thick. You know, like stuff that I'm doing now, very thick. It's hard to, you can't really re-wet it that way. If you want to re-wet it. If you re-wet it, it ends up being like watercolors, kind of. You know, normally I'd already stop on a painting like this. Like, I think it's pretty much, like, I'm pretty happy with this. But I'm trying to see if I can get, like, just some feather shapes in there. You guys can't even see that because it's wet. But once it dries, you probably see it a little bit more. But anyway, hope you guys have been enjoying this stream. Something different. Would you guys want to see more gouache, like every Friday or something? Do like a little gouache like this? Let me know what you guys think. Nathan, this is a mixture. I have some Da Vinci gouache, M. Graham, and I think the alizarin permanent is Winsor Newton. So I got a bunch of different, I tried just a bunch of different brands. But if you guys are interested in seeing me do more of these like gouache paintings, like landscapes are really fun. I've done like, maybe I'll show some of my other gouache paintings here at the end. I have a bunch of them. I actually have all of them that I'm going to sell. I have on my website. So you can definitely go check out. And you'll know the gouache ones are different because they have they're sectioned up. You can just click the button that says gouache, but they have I put a tan outline around them. Whatever the paper was, I put that in the photograph. So that's how you can easily tell if it's a gouache. Well, I think that's probably good enough. I don't want to go too much. I probably already went too much. I think this line is just a little too harsh there. So I'll try to fix that. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe every Friday would be like a relaxing gouache. I don't have to worry too much. And you know, I want to just put some different kind of, expose myself to some different stuff, you know, try to do some different subjects. Well, I'm not a fan of the background still. I feel like I need more, it needs more color. It needs like more color harmony. It feels too dark, too black back there. I feel like we need like either some warmth or, you know, a mixture of warmth and cool and something. I probably should have stopped on the bird a while back. Kind of overdid it. I kind of liked it a lot earlier, better, to be honest, if I'm being honest. And after saying that, I think I'm going to do some more work on it. I think there's just too many darks. I want to tweak some of this if I can, possibly. If I can get my brush to be the way I want. It's too late. Come on. How dark do I have to go? I know it dries darker. Yeah, it's one of those things, you overwork it and then it's like, bummer. You know? But I think I just need to go over some of the dark that I put in. Just needs to be slightly refined. Philip says time to step away from the bird. Exactly. Exactly. Maybe add some splatters. I don't want stars in it. It's not supposed to be like a night sky. It's supposed to be like a thick forest. That's the problem. It's coming off the wrong way, you know what I mean? It does look darker on camera, I will say that. It's much more matte, it's much lighter, what I'm seeing. Let's try to, I don't know, let's figure something out for this background. I need something. I gotta just mix something, I don't know. Orange fireflies would be cool. Yeah, if I knew how to do that. I mean, I can, you know what? Let's try it. That's a cool idea. Thanks for that idea, Emerge. It's very creative. I'm not very creative. Let's try to put in like 1 or 2 of them. Maybe 3. Because what? We're an hour and 10 minutes in. I got like 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes before I get off here. So something like that. Because I mean, I could peel the tape off right now and it'd probably be a good painting. Like once I peel the tape off, it's gonna be pretty good. Literally, I probably could peel the tape off right now if I'm just gonna add fireflies to it. I might just leave the background the way it is. Yeah, I think it just needs more color. I need more color. Everything's very cool right now, very cold looking. And you're right, I need some like warmth, need some yellow and oranges in there. So let's try that. So I'm gonna peel the tape off just so we get a clean read on it right now, because I'm not gonna need the tape anymore, I don't think. Ooh, this tape has been on here for about almost a year. Whoa, and look at that. Doesn't rip the page, no residue, nothing. Still good after I taped this thing 11 months ago. I just thought I was gonna paint it a lot. It's a bit harder to peel off though, that's for sure. It's a bit more sticky. That's why you gotta get artist tape, man. It's really good. That's why you gotta use good paper, because then you don't have to worry about, look at that, no paint bled through. I very rarely ever get paint bleeding through. Transparent red oxide splatter. That would be cool. I don't have any transparent red oxide. I have burnt sienna, unfortunately. It's pretty similar. But you're right. It does need like some burnt. Yeah, that's what it needs. The background. We need some warmth in the. Oh, rip the paper. Look at that. Finally ripped it. Take back everything I just said. This tape sucks. This paper sucks. And I ripped it a little bit, not much, just a little bit off there. But the paper's pretty thick. But I'm surprised it did that well, to be honest. That's pretty crazy. So there we go. Looks pretty clean. So this is 6x8, so you could put like I think 5x7 matte on this, and then give a real nice effect. Be pretty cool. Or a 6x8 matte, what am I saying? Put a 6x8 matte on that. Or could you put a 5x7? I don't know. I'm not good at math right now. I'm on the spot. The neck or the head should be more round. Probably, but I get what you're saying. Like right here, probably needs to come down a bit. Like something like this. now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, and maybe this shape here is different, but it's alright. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. It looks pretty darn good to me. Looks like a parrot. Okay, what I was thinking before I try those like Firefly things. Yep, odd number, I know. Yep, odd number for sure. But I want to mix up. Yeah, I've been missing. I'm really attracted to warm and cool compliments. I know that about myself. So I feel like the background, if we could do this, if I could get this to go a little bit grayer, a little darker. Some of this should just be warmer. Know what I mean? It's too light. Let's darken it. How does that look? Yeah, needs some balance. That's what. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Emerge. You're definitely right. It needed some warms and cools and stuff. It needed warms against all these. The green's cool. The background's cool. The bird is cool. It needed some like. Needed some touches of warmth and stuff in this. I still might try those Fireflies just to see, like, I don't know. Do you guys think I should add some Fireflies to try to play around with that effect, maybe? Like lighting kind of effect, little Fireflies, like, I don't know, one here, and I don't know, where would I put them? Try some kind of triangular composition, possibly. Or just floating around up here. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. But yeah, got a little bit more warmth going. I like that. Yeah, that looks so much better. So much better. It's really fading off too, so let's try to let's really boost up some of these warms. Oh, too much. Got carried away there. Easy for me to do. I love doing that. That's good to hear. Thanks. Appreciate it. Firefly sounds good. What's up, Designs by CAD Pro? Thanks for tuning in. Okay, Firefly, let's try it. So, it's kind of similar to painting the sun. So that's what I'm going to try to do. This could be a complete failure. I might ruin the painting by doing this. Does anybody want to buy this as it is? Because if you do, I'm going to stop right now. But if not, all right, let's just experiment. Let's do it. Man, the colors are way off on the camera too. Everything looks so much cooler on the camera. It's much warmer in person, to be honest. Okay, all right. So I know from painting sunsets, at least in watercolor, the sun's usually white. But with these fireflies, I don't know if I'm gonna leave it white. Let's do it. I can always paint over it with... Okay, I'm gonna start out with yellow. I'm gonna start with yellow. What I can always do is put a dot of white on there to really give it a glow. I'm gonna put a touch of yellow ochre near that. So that's true, I could just paint over it if I don't like it. We'll try one. Let's just try to put one up here, like near his face, kind of. So I don't really know what a firefly is supposed to look like. So I'm just guessing here. I'm totally guessing. So put a dot of yellow. It's supposed to be like a glowing effect, right? Like a glowing light. Well, I'm trying to do it without an image first. I'm going to try to do it without an image first. So mixing up some color here. I'm going to use yellow ochre now. So this little dot of yellow is the light. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do this with all hard edges as well. So it's going to be kind of tricky. We'll just see if I can do it. I know you folks are saying orange, but I'm getting to that. You got to understand how to create a light effect. Just hold your horses. And I may need to modify this, but let's just, I don't know, let's see what happens. It doesn't look like anything yet. Looks pretty awful. So what I'm going to do, I'm already decided I'm going to modify this. We're going to do... I'm going to do white in the center. Here, let me turn this down so you guys can kind of see what I'm really doing. That's probably what it should be. Yep, I know, I got it, guys, I got it. It's like a mini sun, that's what I'm trying to create right now. And it's hard to show you guys on this camera what it really looks like. Let's put some white into this orange. That's probably what it needs. It's getting too dark. Let's see if this will... It does look like a flower. But don't worry, when we zoom out, let's see what this... See if this looks like a light effect. Kind of. Maybe not. May need more yellow just to really enhance the effect. Does it look like a little piece of light? It doesn't really. It's so little. All right, you want me to soften it now? Let's see if I can soften it, if it'll keep the that effect. Man, it's so hard to paint something so little. I could paint this larger. I could paint a large firefly, but a small one is definitely challenging. Man, the colors just, you guys can't even see the colors, man. For real. You guys are missing out on the orange. Ah, what a bummer. Because it's really saturated. It's a bummer. Yeah, does that look like it yet at all? Let's try one more thing. Just experimenting, of course. I might try one more and do a little bit different colors to see, you know, what we got going on. Kind of using like a reddish, orange, reddish, pinkish around it. Kind of dry brushing it. Does that work? What do you guys think? Does that look like a firefly? If I did like, you know, where should I do one like, should I do one over the bird, like it's in front of the bird? And then have like reflected light on the bird? That could be cool. And then one up here maybe, like kind of floating around him. One near his tail, down here. Yeah, I want to keep the focus up here. That's the thing. Yeah, I would keep them all up here, I think. So I might do one over here. See, I don't want it to be like a line. So maybe like here-ish. And then I need like a triangular. I need something like here, I think. I think that's what I'm going to go for. I need like a triangular type of composition. I'm going to try it. If it sucks, then whatever. The painting sucks, whatever. I mean, this is a pretty cool painting. Pretty cool experiment. I want to try to do is put one in front of him and make it look like it's kind of close to him so that the light is kind of like hitting him a bit. That's what I'm going to go for. We'll see if I can pull it off. If I can't, then darn it, I tried. Maybe I'll make this one bigger so that it appears. Oh yeah, I can make them different sizes. So maybe this one back here, I can make it a lot smaller than this one. This is the medium sized one. And then this one could be a little bit bigger so that we have like some depth. What do you guys think about that? Let's see if I can do that. You're on the edge of your seat right now. Oh man. All right, let's see what I can get this to look like, guys. This could be cool. Okay, got to mix up more of this yellow, aka pick up more yellow, because you can't mix yellow. It's already mixed. Getting a clear spot on my palette is the challenge. Clean spot. Are you guys gonna see a close-up of this one again? Let's see. I'll try to get the colors right for you guys as close as I can. Maybe like that. Yeah, it's hard to tell because once I put my hand in here, something's gonna change. Oh well. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I'll show you guys how I do this. This is the same way you'd create like a sunset. The white of the paper, you do that white dot, or if you're using oils or something, or acrylic, that's how you paint the sun. It has to be the lightest value. Like I know when you see a sunset, it's actually like, you look at the sun and it's orange, but you can't paint it that way. It doesn't work. I've tried it. You just don't get that glowing effect because the sun is really the brightest thing out there. It's the brightest value, so you have to use white for it. And then you just transition from these lightest warm colors. You go from white, yellow, orange, and red to like pink, and you just get more gray and gray. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some sunset studies on here because it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun to do. It's a lot of fun. I painted a lot of sunsets before, so I kind of got it figured out for the most part. Oh man, I added too much red. Or alizarin permanent, too much. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was talking about doing. I'm gonna have a lighting. I want some reflected light on him. I want it to make it look like he's being lit up by it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off and make it look good, but I'm gonna try. So I know it looks crazy. But stick with me here, folks. Stick with me. This is gonna create some depth. As soon as I add that small one in the background, we're gonna have some, and I can suggest some smaller ones here and there, maybe. With just yellow or orange. You know, if orange would, yellow would make them getting close to us, and then red and orange would be further away if I just make like dots. So that could be interesting to play around with as well. This is totally experimenting. I mean, this is the fun thing about these live streams that I do. You guys give me an idea and then I just run with it and see, can I make that work? This isn't something I would normally paint, but it's like, okay, let's try it. I'm here, you guys are here, it's Friday night, let's have some fun, let's give it a shot. little more saturated pink here. Pinkish red. So I'm graying it down as it gets farther away, but I'm also making it like reddish. And that's what gives it like a kind of a lighting effect. Doesn't look that good on the camera right now, but so we have, it's too sharp around the yellow and stuff, so what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna get some more yellow and we're gonna blend that out. Until we get like a, there we go, looks a little bit better. Yeah, we can add a little more light in some areas. So now, I don't know how to do this effect, but if I can light up his feathers. I'm gonna put one more firefly back in there really quickly, hopefully. And we'll make this one small. I've already done 2 of them, so I should be able to do this pretty quickly, pretty well. Sorry, this is so like, it's so time consuming and detailed work. I don't really like doing this kind of work, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Glad to hear that, Sarah. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep all the fireflies up there because, you know, that's kind of my focal point is up here. You know, I might suggest like smaller ones or something down there, but I don't really want to mess with anything down there. So here's something cool I can do. So now what I'm going to try first, actually. So this firefly is kind of around these bamboo whatever things. So I'm going to light those up first, actually, before I do the bird. 'Cause it's kind of, you know, kind of get me warmed up first. Before getting into the bird here, let's wet the gouache on the palette a bit. Drying out already, drying out. So if I can light up some of the bamboo, I think that would be pretty cool looking, right? I try to be smart, man. I try. I just go with the flow. Sometimes it's not good, sometimes it works, you know. So I'm trying to get like a warm, you guys can't even see that really. This color I'm mixing, I'm trying to get like a warm green, really warmish green. A lot of golds mixed into it. Now that's a little too much. But the reason I'm doing that is because I want it to look like it's being lit up like by warm light. Running out of yellow here. Okay, let's try that. Let's just see. Oh, too much. Gosh darn it, I was trying to dry brush that. I wanted like a little bit of fading as it went down, you know. You know, we could have some leaves and stuff lit up too. We don't want it to just be only these vertical stalks. You know, we could have some I don't know, is that too much light? It's kind of cool. Yeah, no live stream Saturday and Sunday. I can't do like 7 days a week, man. I'll die. I got to take some days off. But I do Monday through Friday evenings, 5:10 Pacific Standard Time. And since I'm talking about that, be sure to check out my website, shaverfineart.com. Got a bunch of paintings and drawings on there, just like the one you're witnessing me do right now. Got a bunch of watercolors, gouache, pen and ink. Definitely be sure to check those out, and also a page to support me on there if you feel like you need to or you'd like to. There's ways to do that, a bunch of different ways, so definitely check all that out. So, yeah. I have no idea what the colors would look like reflected on this either, to be honest. I'm just making it up. I'm just guessing. I'm going to mix it up. We'll put some orange in there too for some of the warmths. Like I was saying earlier, we need that warm in there. So let's put some orange in there too. You guys can probably barely see that, but it's there, man. It's glowing. Got some nice orange. Just to make it different. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. Now, if you want to know how to increase your warms in a painting, all right, Asami, thanks for tuning in, man. Take it easy. Appreciate it. So if you want to know how to increase your warms in a painting, one way to do it is to cool your cools. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cool down some of these green stalks as they get into the shadow so that it enhances the warmth of what we're seeing there. Well, Sue Dean, if you go to your subscriptions page on YouTube, I usually schedule the live streams on there. They'll tell you this one is scheduled and what time it's starting. So I try to do that from now on if I can. At least a day ahead of time, if not sooner. So, did that do anything? Is that too cool? You know, it already looks kind of cool, but I'm just trying to see if I can push it slightly. Possibly. Slightly, possibly. Why is this so light? Ugh, so annoying. Try again. Yeah, this might be way too cool. It's hard to tell. Or dark now. Too dark now? Come on. Sounds good, Sue. I appreciate it. So like I said, we'll just cool down some of these slightly, kind of like some cooler reflected light. Cooler shadows and stuff. And it should help to enhance some of the... You know, we can put some cools right up on the shadow side here, possibly too. Now I'm getting close to overdoing it, but it's pretty cool. All right, let's try to do this dude's feathers. I've already been here almost 2 hours, so... Yeah, there's definitely a few streams. I'm on number something, 90 something, so you got a lot of... There's plenty of streams to go back and watch. Landscapes, all kinds of stuff I painted. So, yeah, this is a big improvement, I think. Yeah, you can see the cools here that I added, like cooler green, bluish greens. So, there we go. Really enhances the whole lighting effect. So now I want to add some warms to this bird. Let's try to do this. I feel like if I add just straight orange to it, it might look a little weird. So I'm trying to... Obviously, my brain tells me, okay, it's orange, it's blue, something's blue, you're adding an orange light onto it or a yellow light. So what would that be like? Well, I gotta mix the colors together a bit, but if I do that, now I'm gonna get like browns and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna go in with some oranges, but kind of grayed down slightly. As you can see what I'm doing over here. Bright yellow? I don't think bright yellow would. Because you don't want it, it's reflected light, so it's going to be darker than the light source itself, right? So that's what I got to keep in mind. It's going to be darker and probably warmer than the light source itself. That's how reflected light kind of works. So let's see, let's start out dark, because I can always add lights on top of it, right? So let's start out darker and kind of warmer. Just see what this looks like. This could look completely stupid, but like I said, see, when you put, you guys can't even see it because there's a glare. It's gonna dry a bit darker, so I'm gonna have to go a bit lighter. But that is pretty close to what I want, and it's very grayed down. No worries, Sarah. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thanks for checking it out. Oh boy, this is gonna be tough, man. This is tough. Yeah, this is all from a viewer that suggested all this, so I'm not this creative, guys. That's for sure. I would have never tried something like this. Although I did do some Firefly Firefly paintings back in the day in acrylics. I'm sure I have the time lapse here on YouTube that you guys can check out. But it's from like 2012, long time ago. I don't even know if I still have the paintings. I think I might have gotten rid of them. So it's hard because I'm trying to get all these different feather textures and stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten it. I need to darken it as it's getting away from the light slightly. Yeah, the muted orange works, I think. And I'm going to lighten it up a little bit as it gets closer to the firefly. So I want to get like... You know, it's basically the same effect as what I did with the firefly itself. You know, as it gets close to the light source, it gets warmer, brighter. The further away it gets darker, more muted, warmer. It's the same thing happening. So that's what I'm trying to show. Trying. Keywords, trying. I mean, this might end up being a disaster, but at least I tried. So I might be able to go a little lighter, a little warmer with that. Let's keep pushing it. Let's try to push it a little bit more. Might be too much. Yeah, good suggestion, Emerge, or Sergio. Appreciate it, man. I don't know if he's still here or not, but this was definitely a different... I'm gonna have to change the title of this live stream to Firefly or Parrot with Fireflies and Gouache. Yeah, don't know that I'm doing this exactly. I don't know if I'm doing it justice really, but it's pretty difficult. I think I have too much. I think I need some shadowing or something. We need something going on here. It's kind of missing, it's missing some dimension now, I think. See if I can get darker, a darker shadow. Maybe not that dark. Sorry, folks. Too much there, too much. Gosh darn it. Yeah, this is tough, man. This is tough when you, this is why references are like super important, because like I don't have a reference for what I'm doing right now, so it's just kind of making it up, you know? Literally making it up. This will be something I'm gonna have to look at and see what I did wrong and what I could do better next time if I ever try something like this again. You know, maybe that's not as bad now. Maybe we need more of this darker brown in there. The muted orange, aka brown. Too much? Probably. But it's good to know when it's too much, because then you can back off a little bit. Tone some of that down. I know what it's missing. I know what it's missing. I think I know. I think what's weird about it is that it's being lit up. I have different lighting in the photo, or the reference, so like, yeah, the photo reference, exactly. The photo reference was taken in broad daylight, so I'm having conflicting shadows here and stuff. Because I'm just exploring an idea. So what do I do right now? Do I just start painting shadows on the bird so that it looks like night now? Do I just convert it? You know, it'd have to be just something quick. What do you guys think? I think I need to get rid of the light that I already have. Just gonna put a highlight on his beak. That's what I need. Got some light up there. You guys can't even see that. It's crazy how much this thing doesn't pick up. Yeah, you guys saw a dark background and suggested nighttime stuff, but like the bird's not lit up for that. So now I got these conflicting, it looks dumb because I have this conflicting light source. So well, it looks confused, you know? It looks confused. I mean, I got this really light white branch, but it's night. You know, like what's going on? If it's night, then why is everything, you know? I think I'm gonna have to just, it sucks that I just spent 2 hours on this thing and now I'm gonna modify the whole thing. I think I darkened the branch to be more brown and warm here, or a shadow or something, probably a shadow, maybe a little bit of reflected light or something, and then darken the whole bird. You know, do I do that? What do you guys think? Do I spend 10 more minutes doing that? And I mean, this is the idea of the painting now, so I guess I have to kind of change it, right? So, yeah, all right, let's do it. I got one yes, Artie says yes, let's do it. I agree. What am I doing here otherwise? Yep, darken the branch. I'll darken the bird a little bit. We'll have some cooler shadowing on the branch. Yep, make it work, exactly. If I spend this much time on it, I might as well spend 10 more minutes and let's just get this thing to look decent. Just gotta be careful of this taped edge. I don't want to go over that because I got the tape off of it. Do I still have anybody watching? Yeah, 42 people. All right. Still got some folks here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me. I really did like 2 paintings in one. I did a painting of a bird, and then I redid that painting and painting a bird with fireflies. It's crazy. Did not expect this tonight. I learned my lesson. Don't take any suggestions. Come on, I need it darker. I'm about to take out some ivory black, because this is annoying. Just need to get dark. Yeah, you're a little late, Arnie, but it's all good. I've already basically done like 2 paintings in one shot. You'll be surprised when you watch the replay, probably. If you watch the replay. So darkening the branch definitely made it look more like night. I think we just need some subtle shadows on the bird. And I think that'll really enhance the firefly effect. As much as I like the way I did the bird and everything, it's gotta go. It's gotta go. We're doing a different idea now, so. Yeah. Yep, it's true. Definitely true. We're all learning here, so it's definitely cool. A little bit of reflected light there. A bit of reflected light there. So, my palette is really dirty right now. I haven't even used this square at all, so I'm going to clean this really quickly if I can. Alright, good enough. Alright, let's see. Okay, somebody has a good idea? Let's see, Oh yeah, cool time lapse from daytime to nighttime. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is gouache a type of paint? Yes, it's like it's opaque watercolor basically, but it can be reactivated with water. Or from flat to fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, purple for shadows is good. I'm gonna do a little bit more blue just to complement the orange, and because the bird is blue already, it just makes sense to kind of like keep the blue. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna, we'll get some purple in there, but it's gonna be grayed down with some burnt sienna. Let's see what happens here. So let's see what happens when I put this on. So we know the tail down here is gonna be much darker now. I'm gonna try to be, you know, try to keep it loose, keep these shapes. We'll try to just focus on creating some good shapes. And try to focus on the roundness of the bird. So I know right in here it gets pretty dark. And this part that had the highlight, that actually has to go because it's not facing the warmth. Anymore. So this is a challenge about gouache. Can't use a lot of water because it's just reactivating all the light highlights I had earlier. So it's pretty challenging. I don't even know if you guys can see that. But it's not raining here, it's just my computer fan making that noise probably. Unfortunately, until I can get a better computer. Oh, you guys know what I have to do now too, right? Well, we gotta get rid of that really bright yellow around his eye. We'll make that like a dark, warm yellow. He's in the dark now. Basically, you know, we can have a little bit of highlight on there. We can have like, this might be my longest stream so far, or might be getting there. Maybe a little highlight on the bottom. Bottom and front or something maybe. Yeah, that's true. Firefly reflections in the eye. I don't know how I'm going to do that. The eye is so small, that black dot, but you're right. There does need to be like some kind of reflection there. See if I can do that. I don't know what color it should be. maybe just straight yellow ochre. I mean, that's pretty much all I'm gonna get for like a reflection, you know. What I can do is put some more shadowing on top of that eye so that it looks like, I'll show you. So more shadowing right here. Should give his eye like some roundness, hopefully. Slight, sort of. Yeah, it's really hard to see. You know, it's one of those details. It's like super duper hard to see from far away. Nah, the white tree's done. We're done with the white tree. I like the warm reflections right here on the edge. But what we're gonna do, gonna get some orange. We're gonna put some like bark texture highlights. Yeah, I agree. I did like the daytime version better, to be honest. I totally agree. But you know, this was just it turned into be a challenge. I took it as a challenge. So I was like, all right, well, let's try to make something out of this. So that's what I tried to do. Definitely turn this into a challenge. Still trying to get rid of some of those like really light highlights on the bird that I had that like shouldn't be there. Like on the beak and stuff, like that shouldn't be there. I'll put a little rim light back here from the other hot firefly in the distance. Oh, I missed a spot, as they say. Somebody says. There we go. Well, that's definitely a different experience, folks. Did not really expect to do all this in this painting, but I appreciate you guys sticking around, hanging out with me. You know, I'm not sure how much more I can go with this one or what more I could do to it. Definitely not going to take suggestions from you guys. Definitely not doing that again. Took enough suggestions from you guys. Ended up with paintings like this. They're all confused. They don't know if it's daytime or nighttime or what time it is. But it was pretty cool. It was cool to try to put the fireflies in there and just try to push it, you know. It's kind of a meditative experience, just gave me something different to do, different to try. But did not expect that. Did not expect this. Wow. So you guys got to see 2 paintings in 2 hours basically, because I was done with this thing an hour in, pretty much. So here's the painting. As soon as I take some of this glue off the paper. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, very different than something I would really do normally. I wish I could get the lighting right for this painting so you guys could actually see it, but you know, if you come back and look at the thumbnail of the video, once this thing processes in a few hours, you see that. Just come back and look at the thumbnail tomorrow on my channel. You'll see the real painting. I'll put the real painting. Will be the thumbnail of this video. Yeah. Let's take a look at it through the webcam, see if we see a difference at all. So, here we go. It's really hard to see, but you can see that light effect really works. I mean, really cool. Just not exactly what I had in mind today for the reference photo. That's how it goes sometimes. It's definitely how it goes. Definitely how it goes, but it's all good. I mean, I had some fun, but I think it's time for me to get off here. I got some things to do. I got some things to eat. Gotta get something to eat before I die. All right. No more. No more. As I add more. All right. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, this is the Firefly incident. Definitely, Ellen, exactly. I should charge $165 for it, yeah. I don't think anyone would buy it for that, but yeah, it's a pretty small painting. I don't have that much notoriety yet to be able to charge that kind of money for something like this. But I appreciate the thought. Thanks, Sergio. I appreciate it. Thanks for the idea, man. It was really cool. Definitely cool. I definitely got the firefly effect down, I think. I mean, you can tell. There we go. That's kind of a view. That's kind of what it looks like. If I just put my hands on there, it kind of blocks the camera. Looks a little bit better there. It's kind of what it looks like. Definitely looks better in person, I will say. the camera picks up all these weird highlights and stuff that really aren't there. Or at least they're not that bright in person. So that's the unfortunate part with the camera. See that? You get glare when things are wet. You just get all these different kind of views and stuff. But the next live, I don't know what the next live is about. Next week I might do a portrait week, and we'll just I'll draw and paint like eyes, noses, mouths, portraits, ears. We'll just, I don't know. I think that's what I'm gonna do because I can't think of anything else right now. Yeah, thanks, Nathan. Yeah, definitely different process. Yeah. Yeah, you got me out of my comfort zone, that's for sure. I'm just glad I learned how to do this kind of firefly effect from like painting sunsets. You see how like you learn one thing from plein air, and I put it in this kind of painting and it works, a realistic effect. So that's what's important. So yeah, maybe portraits next week. I think everybody was down with seeing that next week, so should be cool. We'll do facial features, portraits, all kinds of stuff, talk about planes, and I really need to start studying that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, be sure to check out my website. I got some great artwork out there on there, and that's where to see the final paintings that I do on these live streams. You see what they really look like from these photos online. So definitely be sure to check those out, and you can see the drawings as well. And also support page on there. So definitely check me out on there. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna do any plein air this weekend. The air quality is still just smoky outside. It's like a bonfire outside. So one last look at this Firefly incident, the Firefly incident painting. Pretty cool. But definitely got the fireflies going and some depth. So take care, everyone. Peace.